Hi, I hope you're having a wonderful day. It's been raining most of this morning. Currently not raining, but it'll be back, right? I'd like to talk to you about NFTs, which is short for non-fungible tokens. Now, in theory, this is similar to an artist making a limited series of prints, or the coin mint making a limited number of coins or bills, or anything along that lines where there's a limited number of objects available. But technically, if you look up the term we'll look up fungible because that's a little bit more straightforward. So I'm just going to search for it here on DuckDuckGo. So in economics, fungibility is the property of a good or commodity whose individual units are essentially interchangeable, and each of whose parts is indistinguishable from another part. So that's the opposite of unique. Okay, so everything is a copy of everything else. They're exactly the same. Okay, now another definition of it says something that may be replaced by another equal part or quantity in paying a debt. So gold, for example, is fungible. Grain is fungible. Coins, money, it's fungible, as long as it's the same type of money. And then, if we look at this a little bit closer, and we look at what the antonym is, it's non-interchangeable. So you can't, and it's not exchangeable, non-substitutable, non-switchable. So basically, a non-fungible something is something that is unique. I don't know why they couldn't just use the word unique, but I guess it sounds cooler to say NFT rather than UT. Anyways, so it also implies the economic value when you say NFT, which isn't included in unique. So it's unique. It's you can't substitute or switch or exchange or commute. So that kind of, in a way, if you think about it, you can't really call it unique if it's a series of identical things. So if you have a 5,000 coins minted exactly the same, they are not actually unique. And that means that they're not really non-fungible. Because there's a limited number of them doesn't make them non-fungible. And if you take the time to go to, say, nftbay.org, and you look for the Bored Ape Yacht Club, and search, and you search for it. I'm having problems with the search engine on this website because it doesn't seem to be working. It just pulls up whatever it wants to pull up. It doesn't pull up what it should be pulling up. Like if I search for Pokemon, yeah, Pokemon's there, but if I don't search for anything at all, Pokemon's still in the exact same place. Everything else is in the exact same place. So we can take a look here, and I'll show you. Hopefully you can see. So there's a Pokemon. Now, that's not exactly high-tech art. Now, this one's a little bit better. It's got a moving audience. It's got something in the middle there that I can't really identify. It moves from side to side. And then there's this garbage. It's got NFT spelled out with, I think, numbers, 0 and 1. And then it's got this here. And it's called Lucky Binary NFT number 89,123. So if you've got something there are 89,000 plus iterations of the same object. It's not even close to being non-fungible. It is just, and it's This is something that could be produced entirely by a computer without any human intervention at all, either through an existing program, or somebody could make a custom program to make things like this forever. So, is this valuable? No, it's not. When you don't have any actual effort being put into it, then it's not valuable. Putting effort into making the program itself, now that's valuable, but this is garbage. I'd rather buy a Jackson Pollock painting, or a Pablo Picasso Cubist painting, or any of that other garbage than buy something like this. And this is even worse garbage. And look at this. I mean, this actually took some editing, not very much editing perhaps, but they took what looks like a film poster. I guess I assume that's from Brotherhood, and then they put in this audience that's moving and made it move back and forth. That takes a bit of skill. I don't know how much skill, but it takes some skill. This could have been auto-generated. This could have been auto-generated. This could have been auto-generated. This one would actually take some skill, and I would say a substantial amount of skill. I don't think that technology is to the level where Space Girls Space Girls could have been produced purely by a program. We just don't have that level of technology at this point that I'm aware of. Let's just click on this one and see what it says. Okay, the $1 billion torrent. Okay, so this is an important thing that you need to understand. An NFT is just a hyperlink to an image that's usually hosted on Google Drive or another Web 2.0 web host. Okay, so all right, well, it wasn't exactly what I thought it was going to be, but this is an interesting point. NFTs are supposed to be hosted on the blockchain, but if they're being posted on an HTTP website, if they are being posted on Web 2.0 web host or on Google Drive, that is not the blockchain, and they are not protected by the blockchain, and it's not a legitimate NFT. Okay, let's go back here. We'll look some more at this garbage. So, garbage again, lucky binary. Oh my god, and see, it's exactly the same. And then we've got this stupid crap. Okay, cute looking owl, right? But hey, you know what? Computer generated. How do I know that? Because here's another owl. Look at that. They just modify certain aspects of the character. Is this unique? No, possibly. It looks like it's a hand drawing by somebody, as is this one. Is it beautiful? Not by my estimation, but some people might find it beautiful. I would not personally ever buy something like this because I am really very fussy about art. This could have been computer generated. This could be part of a series of computer generated products. That obviously is a real photograph, but again, it's still just a photograph, and once you've got one photograph, which takes some skill and some time and a model or a thing to shoot a photograph of, once you've got it and you duplicate it, it no longer requires skill. It's just cut and paste kind of action. This looks like it's computer generated. This is definitely something that could be computer generated. This is some child drawing something in paint or something like that. This is computer generated. This probably was, originally made by somebody and then duplicated. So, yeah. So basically we're looking at the vast majority of NFTs that we've looked at so far are, oh my gosh, a QR? You got to be kidding me. A QR code is an NFT? Okay, that took talent to make. That took talent to make, unless this is just copied off of or stolen from a website, or all of these could have been stolen off of websites or off of movies or video games or whatever. This looks like somebody's version of the Scream by was it Van Gogh?
Another, oh wow, that's so creative. They just did the same thing with different colors. And oh, a banana, wow, amazing. And oh my gosh, this could be made with a computer program. Images like this can be created by computer programs. So this is just a tiny example.
Call from +151379116.
Okay, so that's just a small example of what you can find for NFTs. Now, I did, when I first heard about NFTs, which I believe was from my son, ironically, who's 13 years old, I was like, what? That sounds like garbage. That sounds like a ripoff. It sounds like a scam. And, but I didn't bother to pursue it. But then I was watching my CoffeeZilla, who exposes scams on like MLM and Ponzi, NFTs, crypto, and that kind of stuff. He exposes scammers, financial scammers, all kinds of scammers. And he was talking about NFTs, and I was like, whoa, wait a second. I'm actually right? This stuff is garbage? I couldn't believe it. So he talked to the owner of NFT Bay, which is this guy in Australia. He downloaded all of the NFTs that he could find using certain precautions, because it is dangerous, because some of that stuff is on the dark web. And he put it up on NFTbay.org, kind of a play off of Pirates Bay. Well, it's not a very good website. It's really hard to actually search for anything. I couldn't get the search function to work, in fact. But I just showed you an example of some stuff on NFT Bay. And anyways, so he was talking to this guy, and this guy was just totally blasting NFTs out of the water. Then I found another video by Duncan Can't Die, blasting NFTs out of the water. And so here's the thing. Non-fungible tokens should be something that are unique, and they should have an inherent value because of effort put into them. Now, Logan Paul did CryptoZoo, which was basically is a scam where he took Photoshop. He and his partners took Photoshop images and put different things on the images to make them change. He changed the colors. He added things on top, like a hat or sunglasses or whatever it happened to be, a pipe it could be anything really, and just made each one look slightly different. Now that could have actually been, if somebody knows about programming, they could actually, if the program they use allowed for it, they could actually program in that to make all of those iterations completely automatically without any intervention from them. By choosing certain points where type A thing would fit on top of the head, type B thing would fit on the mouth, type C would fit in the hand, and things like that. They would just have to choose points where different types of add-on objects would be inserted into the picture. And then they went on to talk about how you can actually have NFTs pushed into your wallet that you did not want. So if you have a digital wallet, and you're like a big time celebrity or something like that, and some company wants to advertise itself without your consent, they can push an advertisement of their business onto your wallet, and there's no way for you to stop them, and the only way to get it off of your wallet is to pay to have it removed. So that's a pretty big scam there. It's not going to cost them as much money as it's going to get them, because they're illegally advertising under your name. Also, it could have nude photographs. It could have doxing information. It could have basically anything. I mean, you could have somebody pushing child pornography into your wallet just to get you in trouble. You could have all kind WikiLeaks docs. You could have anything. You could have top secret information pushed onto your wallet without your consent or knowledge, and you'd have to pay to get rid of it, and there's no mitigation strategies. So it's if you look at an NFT and you see that it's a one of one, not a one of 1,000, much less one of 80,000. Because if you get a run, if you look at limited edition prints, for example, um, you're going to usually see a very low number, in the hundreds perhaps, maybe even less. Anything over a certain number, and I'm not an expert on what that number would be, but anything over a certain number makes that series basically not really have value because there are just too many of them. So artists and the mints and stuff will only print a certain number. Now, how much inherent value it has also depends on whether or not there are any precious metals or precious gems or anything else that are part of the product. Okay. Now, but we have to also keep in mind the fact that you're not buying the NFT. You're buying the link to the NFT. So, not owning the actual thing that you're paying for, just being given access to it. So that's like going to the library to go into the section where you can't take out library books, or going to the museum so you can look at art but you can't take it out, or going to the Natural History Museum where you can look at any of the displays but not be able to take them with you. That's all the same basic thing. You know, you're paying for access to the things, but you don't actually have the things. And worse yet, whereas if you buy a piece of art, for example, and you put it in your home or you put it in a safe deposit box or whatever, it still holds value. But if a digital product is created, say I take a picture of me recording this video right now and I sell it as an NFT, okay? And then the website that is hosting it goes down. Well, that NFT is gone. Unless I, as the seller, am going to guarantee that no matter what happens, that the NFT will always be available to you. But still, it's gone. So, and apparently this has happened, that people have put up NFTs and then the website that was hosting them was not renewed, and so all those NFTs disappeared. And obviously the meaningless and useless NFTs that were gone were not replaced with the cash value that was assigned to them at the last sale. So you can resell these things. And there's an implication in non-fungible that you can't actually trade them for equal value. But if the value of them is equal, or if you say, well, I like your ape, and you say, oh, I like your owl, let's trade, we can do that, right? But in the end, you don't own it. You don't have any way to hold on to it. Now, you could take a screenshot of it, or something like that, and save that to your hard drive. But that's not the same thing as the actual NFT, which is stored on the internet, theoretically in the blockchain, but oftentimes not in the blockchain. And you could theoretically have somebody say, well, we have invested X number of months into making these NFTs, all handmade by a team of artists that we selected, and we have paid them hundreds of thousands of dollars over these past few months to create these very unique NFTs. But then, when you go in and you look, they're all based on certain templates that are available in programs like Photoshop and Blender and things like that, and they're just variations of each other. Well, obviously, the person who says they've invested all this time and money is lying to you. And wait a second. Oh, that happened with, who was that? Was that Logan Paul? Yeah, I think Logan Paul did that with the Crypto Zoo. Yeah. So there are a whole ton of people out there scamming innocent people with NFTs. I mean, if I can take a camera, I'll just take my phone. We don't need a camera. I can take my phone and I go to an art gallery and I photograph every single priceless piece of art that's in that gallery. And then I go to the history gallery or museum and I take a picture of everything there. And then I go to the Science and Technology Museum, and I take a picture of everything there. And I go to every place I can think of. The zoo. I could spend all day long taking photographs of the animals in different poses. And then I sell all of those things as NFTs. How is their value worth more than the actual photograph itself, which would be, you'd get paid pennies, huge, tiny amounts of money from like a greeting card company or from the newspapers or magazines. You might get, hundreds or maybe thousands of dollars if it's a really important picture, but on average, it's not worth much. And it may be iconic, and if you have the original negative in the print, for example, that makes it very valuable. But a digital image of stuff, all I got to do is open up my own NFT website. Doesn't have to be on the blockchain because nobody's paying attention. Oh wait, actually, apparently there is a recent law that's regulating NFTs, and you have to report to the IRS. But I could theoretically, I could set up a website overseas where they don't yet have laws about NFTs, and I could go online and start pounding on everybody about how great my NFTs are. And all they are is landscapes and portraits and stuff like that. Just real life images. What is that really worth? As opposed to me spending 5 months creating a masterpiece with paint. Or as opposed to me spending 3 years creating a beautiful statue. If I could even do that in 3 years. But when you look at NFTs, I showed you some examples where it was clearly well done and it took time for the person, maybe hours, maybe days, depending on their level of skill and how fast they're able to work. But most of them were crap. Most of them were something that somebody pumped out in probably less than 5 minutes. And some of them were not even that. Some of them were like 3 seconds, 2 minutes, something like that. Does that have real value? Now, I realize that as beauty is in the eye of the beholder, value is in the eye of the beholder, of the beholder too. So we have people who collect things that most people would call junk. Like when AOL, America Online, became a thing, they started emailing to everybody discs to join AOL, and the disc was free. The access was, you just had to sign up and become a member and pay their monthly fees, and then they would spoon feed you the internet, which never appealed to me because I wanted to be able to see what I was getting and see what I want, anything that I wanted to see. But there are people who collect AOL discs, and some of them have paid very big money, and so some of those collections are considered to be worth a lot of money, even though they were distributed for free. The difference still is that it's a physical object that you hold. If your house burns down, it burns down with it. Whereas an NFT, you can't lose it because you don't have it in the first place. You just have a link to it. That's so stupid. Which brings me to a very closely related point that isn't, I don't think, called an NFT, but in fact is NFTs, in my opinion, based on the fact that you can do a series. If you go on Roblox, you can buy for your character that you use on Roblox all kinds of clothing, accessories, and weapons, and so on and so forth. And you can pay the person so that you can own your own copy of that digital creation. Now, I'm not a digital graphic artist, or whatever you want to call it, but how long does it take to make an outfit or just a hat? I've seen a series of hats where every hat was the band, and the hat they were all fedoras. They were all had different colors, and they had a flag sticking out of the band, and it was country flags. So the colors of the hat kind of reflected the colors of the country, and so basically all they did was modify what the flag was and modify the colors of the hat, and that was it. And these things were, available and are available on Roblox. So you can show your national pride, I guess. But there are a lot of things on there that are sold on Roblox, some of which are beautiful. I mean, you can see some very elaborate things that clearly took some time, and some of them are just garbage. That I just can't imagine why people buy them, but people do buy them, even if it's not a large amount of Roblox money. It's just insane. And why is it insane? Because you're buying clothes and accessories for a virtual representation of yourself that you could lose. Because A, somebody could hack your account. Or B, you could do something wrong enough in Roblox games that they would permanently ban you from your account, which means all those things that you bought, it would be like you don't own them anymore because you won't be able to access them. You won't have them. You won't have the link to them. Okay. Or C, you could, like what happened to me, and I don't buy this garbage. I don't buy Roblox NFTs, but you could buy these Roblox clothes and accessories, and then start to make a game. And you could accidentally choose something out of the Roblox toolbox that violates the policies of Roblox, and without your being aware that it was violating the policies, because there are a lot of policies and it's kind of hard to remember them all. At least it is for me. And yet that's exactly what happened. My son and I were making a video game last year for Roblox, kind of an obstacle course Roblox game, and partway through, I was looking for decorational figures to add, and I added a couple of dark elves, a male and a female, and I don't really know why, but because they never answered me, they never explained themselves, but my game was permanently suspended, and I was given a 3-day ban. Now, I eventually deduced that it was the dark elves that were a problem, and it was probably the female because she was a busty female. And if you look at Roblox avatars, they are generally kind of child looking as far as the body is concerned. There's no physical development, although you will see sometimes people wearing clothing that resembles sexy lingerie. I saw a woman wearing I saw a female avatar wearing a very skimpy bra that barely covered the chest area, and then a tiny thong. And, that seemed to me to not be okay. But see, here's the thing. You can put stuff up on Roblox, and until somebody reports it and you get in trouble, you're not in trouble. So you can go and sell things that violate the policy and get that money. And if as long as you're making sure to remove that money from your account, when you get banned, it doesn't matter because you got the money. And the person that you sold, the people that you sold that thing to, lose that thing, and they can also get in trouble for wearing it, and maybe get temporarily banned or permanently banned for wearing things that violate the rules. So you win because you get money, and everybody else loses. So what happened to me was, I didn't know that thing was in violation of the rules. I just saw something that fit with the fantasy theme that I was trying to develop within the game that we were creating. And the consequences were a temporary ban, and the game was permanently suspended. I appealed it and I explained to them what had happened, that I had no idea, and it wasn't my fault that it was on the toolbox. They're the ones who should have been monitoring the toolbox. But they came back and said, you broke the rules, you're wrong, we're right, and screw you. So basically, when you buy Roblox NFTs, aka clothes and accessories, or apparel and accessories, you are playing a losing game, because the risks of hacking, the risks of being scammed into buying something that breaks the rules, which you will then lose and maybe get banned, and so on and so forth, exceed that. And it's not like you can just go and resell them whenever you want to. If you decide, oh, I don't like this apparel, it's not like you can like go to a secondhand store and sell it to them and they'll resell it or something like that. You can't donate it to Goodwill or St. Vincent's or Salvation Army or ARC or any of those other charity stores or thrift stores. No, you've got it, and there's no way to get rid of it except for deleting it. So it's all the same thing. You're buying access to something that you don't actually possess. And that thing can be deleted at any time by not renewing or by getting banned because it breaks the rules, or by having the person who created it in the first place take it all down, or any of a number of other possible scenarios. Or you can have it pushed into your digital wallet, stuff you don't want, stuff that is embarrassing, stuff that makes you look like a criminal. So here's the thing. You are putting money into something that it can potentially be risky. Is it really worth it if you don't have the actual object itself, if you don't actually have the image itself? There's no value. It's not like you're paying for a real product. It's not like you're paying for a real service. All you have is this static or non-static thing that you have no control over, that you cannot secure for yourself, but you can resell. So basically, in my opinion, and I think that if you think about it, NFTs are for two people. People who don't understand investing and the dangers of digital investments, and scammers. That is basically what it is. Now, yes, I'm sure that there are people out there who are trying to sell NFTs because they just want to earn some money based on what they can do. That's okay, I get that. But the majority of people out there right now, and there are a lot of influencers on YouTube and Instagram and Twitch and TikTok and Facebook and other places that are either creating NFTs or promoting NFTs because they're being paid, or because they're going to get a huge payout. And a lot of them are lying. So don't buy NFTs. Tell everybody you know not to buy NFTs, because in the end, you're going to lose. And oh, by the way, to all the scammers out there, the government is going to get you. You better start running right now. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you to CoffeeZilla and the other folks who have been working to expose the NFT fraud, and I hope you have a wonderful day.